One of the most frustrating things for me when I taught bridge classes and I worked with people who had done some bridge lessons a long time ago, they were taking up the game again perhaps, was that they would remember rules and have absolutely no concept of the logic behind them. One such rule that really did my head in the most as a bridge teacher was lead fourth highest from your longest and strongest. And you had students leading away from aces for absolutely no reason, leading the opponent's suit, all sorts of stuff, because they had no idea why that would be a rule and why they should follow it. Another rule is cover an honor with an honor. This is a much better one, and in most cases it's right. But it always amazed me how few people actually understood why you do this. Like, what is the purpose of covering an honor with an honor? And only when you know the purpose can you actually find the correct exceptions. This hand is one such exception where you definitely shouldn't cover an honor with an honor. We open a heart. There's a takeout double here from West, which is going to indicate opening values, a shortage in hearts at most 2, and most crucially 4 spades. You're promising 4 cards in the other major, presumably not 5, or you would just simply overcall a spade. So West probably has 4 spades here. This is going to be important when we get on to the play of the hand. As it is, we have nothing to do but rebid our 2 hearts, showing a minimum hand and a long heart suit. Partner's going to pass this one out, and we're going to go ahead and declare this contract. The Queen of Spades is led from West as the takeout doubler. So we think that West has 4 spades to the Queen. Queen Jack probably, maybe Queen Jack 10. Definitely not to the Ace Queen, because just imagine how ridiculous a lead this would be if you had the Ace Queen of Spades in your hand and not the King. You would leave that suit well alone, hopefully, right? And these robots, they're not fantastic on this site, but they do understand at least that much about the game. So East is marked with a very specific spade holding here, which is going to be Ace X, meaning Ace of Spades and 1 lower spade. That's really important, because if we follow the old adage, cover an honor with an honor here blindly, what we're going to do is just promote the Jack and the 10 of Spades for West, and indeed the 8 as well, because our 9's going to fall at some point. We're going to basically make the whole spade suit good for West. That's how it looks to me. If we cover, there is nothing for us to promote. This brings us to the reason, why do you cover an honor with an honor? You do it to set up tricks deeper in the suit for your side later on. So if we held the Jack of Spades here in South, it would be absolutely mandatory that we put that King on the Queen, forcing out the Ace so that our Jack is then top dog. But when those cards, the Jack and the 10 presumably, belong to West, not to us, putting the King in here would simply set up the rest of West Spades, and we would take 0 tricks in the suit. On the other hand, we know that East started with just Ace of Spades and 1 other spade. It's very important to imagine what the opponents have when they bid. That is golden information. Make sure that you use it. And so we will duck here. We will not cover. Covering would be really bad. And in doing so, we're going to now reach this key position here in the spade suit. Okay, so they switch to a club. We'll deal with this first. Normally, we would unblock the short holding. That's another one of these old bridge rules. In this case, though, I don't really see why I would need to access the north hand, my partner's hand. Later in this hand, it doesn't seem we have the entries to get the club suit going. It feels like we're going to want to be in South more to actually draw trumps. So I'm actually going to preserve the King of clubs in South so I can get back over there to draw trumps more easily. And we're going to draw our attention to the spade suit in just a second, but first we have no reason not to draw trumps. There's nothing we're roughing in the north hand. Don't be put off when you have a bad trump suit. You just have to attack it. You just have to sort of get rid of the opponent's trumps, even if that means losing a couple of tricks. And then they play the second spade. And again, we have this chance to cover an honor with an honor. And again, it would be a disaster if we did. Because we now know from the bidding that because West started with 4 spades, and we started with 4 in North, we had 3 in South, the East started with the doubleton. Therefore, if we play small, East has to now play the Ace, and that has promoted our King. There was no lower honor for us to actually promote there. We just had to go ahead and hold off until East was forced apart with their Ace of Spades. This is a really common pattern. You often get a situation like the following one in bridge. Imagine this scenario. You have King to 4 of a suit opposite Queen to 4 of a suit, and you try to figure out which opponent has the Ace. You play up to the honor, which acts after that Ace, and then you play low from both hands, just hoping that that Ace was a doubleton, and then they're forced to play out in the second round. So this is a really common pattern. When an opponent could have a doubleton Ace, or likely has a doubleton Ace, you want to duck the second time the suit is played, and then your King naturally gets promoted. So here, our King of Spades is now good. We do not have a third spade loser. We would have lost 3 spades here had we gone up with the king on trick 1 or that opportunity there. Now all that's really left to do is for us to draw trumps. So I'm actually in south here, which is nice. So I'm going to go ahead and cash the ace of hearts. We've failed the jack, which is good. The 10 is also a winner. We do not have the 9 of hearts. That is going to be outstanding. There's no way for us to catch that there. So East is going to get a trick with that heart because they've broken 4-2 and not 3-3. Can't have everything, but it does look like we're going to make this contract now, because although they rough us here with the 9 of hearts, they've been forced to use their winning trump on our spade winner, and that means that we now retain 1 extra trump it's claiming for us. We make 8 tricks here, which is a pretty good result for this hand. You can see that the bidding told us everything we needed to know. Most of the points were with West, apart from that ace of spades, which was marked with East when West led the queen. And not only that, but it was also marked that East had ace doubleton that told us how to play the suit. To recap, you normally play an honor on top of the opponent's honor to promote cards further down in that suit when your side holds them. When your side does not hold those cards, it defeats the point. And the other way you can generate tricks in that kind of situation is to duck if you think an opponent has a shortage to the ace, because they will be forced to part with that ace within the first couple of rounds of the suit being played, promoting your lower honor, in this case, the king of spades. Let's just have a look at how we got on and what our score was for this board. We played this one last night. If you're wondering how I sort of play through the hands so quickly, it's because I've already played them, but I always make sure that I play them exactly the same way as I did when I was competing in the tournament. And as you can see, we got 81% for this board. The most played result down here is actually people going off in this contract. And I'm not sure how that happened, but if you made me guess, I would say that it's because they followed the old rule. They covered an honor with an honor because they heard it once or twice and they remembered it, but they never learned why. They never really grasped the logic behind it. It's not just enough to learn bridge rules. We have to understand why, because only then can we make the exceptions where they need to be made, such as this hand. Hope you're liking the channel. Hope you're enjoying this content. It'll help me out massively to grow this new channel if you would press that like button, leave me a little comment, let me know what you think. I'll happily answer any questions as well. Much appreciated, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.